The views and opinions expressed in this content are that of a continuously evolving nature and are subject to change as humanity evolves into higher states of awareness.
If you can live with somebody who'd really give you bad time and you can still love them, you've cracked it. And that person will then start loving you back because you're bouncing it like a ball. But if you give them hate and resentment and fear and everything, what are you going to get back? Yes? So everybody's your teacher and you're your teacher yourself. You know, you've arranged it for those people to be in your life. You know, I mean, I'll give you an example. When I was 17, I worked with a girl called Winnie. I would never remember Winnie if it wasn't for this. And I met Winnie, where we worked together, and she wanted to go to this dance, which was a jazz thing, and I hate jazz. It doesn't work with me at all. And in those days, it was these dresses, it was in the 50s, and, you know, they came up like this when you sat down with all the taffeta underneath, and you had high heels and stockings. And every girl wore high heels, and when you're standing all day, you don't want to put high heels on at night time. And of course, I didn't have the money to go anywhere, and I had to stand at a bus stop in the freezing cold. I think it was about February time. And I didn't want to go to this thing. But she fancied this young boy. He said he was going to be there, and she couldn't go on her own, because in those days, a woman didn't go into these sort of things on her own. You couldn't go into a pub on your own, this sort of thing. And so she needed someone to go with her. And from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, she bugged me. Oh, please, you know, I want to go to this dance, you know, and what have you. And she went on and on and on. In the end, I said, okay, I'll go. Just leave me alone. I'll take you. So I went. And we're standing at the bus stop. Freezing cold. And along comes this car. Now, in those days, you could get as many people in a car as you wanted to. There was no law and it was fun. Not like today with all these rules and regulations. Of course, it's sensible. I can see that now. But in the days when you're young, you know, it was fun. And I sat on this young man's lap. If Winnie hadn't bugged me to go to this flipping dance, I would not have my husband, my children, and my grandchildren. So it was meant. It was all arranged beforehand. He was at the dance. I never saw him. I sat on his lap, and that's how I met my husband 60 years ago.
So these opportunities come along, but you have to make the decision to do it. So
well, when you look back, you can see how you have done that. Yeah. You can see the recipe of your life and what you've done, and you can see all the little bits where if that didn't happen, that wouldn't have happened, you know? So it's like stepping stones. People come into your life for a few minutes, maybe, and it's a stepping stone. But it changes your life because you met that person. They may have said something to you. They may lend you a book or something. Yes, they may lend you the newspaper. You open it up and you see an advert. If you hadn't met that person, then you get the good job. It works like that. When you start looking at your life and reading it, we're not taught to read our lives. So that's what I get people to do. Think about your life. Think about the people. Think about your family. Yeah? And learn to love everything, because everything vibrates with love. And if you love it, it will give it back. So if you've got somebody giving you aggro, love them. And they will change towards you. Because you're bouncing it off them, they've got to bounce it back. But you've got to believe it. And it doesn't happen maybe straight away, but keep doing it and it will happen.
So it's like vibrational frequencies.
Yes.
And anyone, if you give out a vibrational frequency,
yeah,
the other person's going to resonate with that frequency and it's going to affect them as well.
Yes. And what happens is, for instance, if you work with love and you work with sincerity and with goodness and you work with your guides, they give you prezzies. And one of the big things that happened to me, which is I've never come across anybody else this has happened to, and I have asked a few people, but I had very bad sciatica at the bottom of my spine. And that's what brought me into this to begin with, but it never completely went away. Even though I had the edge off it a lot, and the angels did that in that room, I still had a niggly thing there because I needed to still have that. And then I had what is known as a shatsu one day. And the lady who was doing it, she said, oh God, she said, I can't believe this. She said, they're showing me your etheric body. You know, you've got 7 bodies. And she said, I can see your etheric body. And in your etheric body, you've got a spear sticking out the bottom of your spine. You've got a knife halfway up your back, and you've got chains on your feet. And she said, and there's angels in this room, and they're all around us, around you in a circle. And they're telling me they're taking the spear out. So I could feel it. I mean, the pain I was in, and they've took the spear out. And then she said, you've got a big hole in the bottom of your spine, and it's all festered, it's all yellow and very red. And they've got a red hot poker, and they're putting it into it. I mean, I can tell you the pain was incredible. And they said to me, to this lady, I won't say who it was, but they told her that they were going to leave it now because they would come back to do more work on it. They took the knife out, I never even felt the knife coming out, but they turned around and they said, they're telling me that you've got to take the chains off your feet. Imagine them coming off your feet. And the chains are saying, they're talking to me and they're saying, we come from Mother Earth, everything does, and we do not like to harm anybody. So when you make something that harms animals or the earth or a human being, this is not what we were put here for. So this is the chains that harmed people. So for instance, you make a bullet, you're not supposed to make that material into a bullet, in other words.
Ah, right.
Yes. So I then had to change it into something nice, which I did. And they were very pleased with that. So that was one of the things that taught me about thinking about the toy with the child. Giving it love, it will give it back. Yes?
So say if you create the physical matter and you make it into a bullet, for instance, because of the destruction that bullet will...
Yeah, because it's harm. It's killing somebody.
Will create the bad karma.
Yeah, well, it's killing somebody. It's not meant... we shouldn't kill. So any material that kills, if it or does harm... So if you make, say, a drug and it harms somebody with a side effect, when you can make the same medicine from Mother Earth, Mother Earth doesn't give you harm. Yeah? Yes? You use herbs instead of drugs. Okay. So, anyway, she'd never seen this before, but she knew somebody who could look into the etheric body. So we went along, and she never told her this. And she got me to lie down on a couch, and she said, would you look into her etheric body? And she said, oh my God, you've got a great big hole in the bottom of your spine. And she said, you must be in agony. She said, it's festering, you know, it's really bad. This was the next day. So we knew that it was true. So anyway, eventually, you know, a few days later, the angels came back, and over weeks, and took a long time for it to heal. But eventually, they even sewed it up with an eagle thread. But that now, did I put that spear into somebody else, and that was my karma? I don't know. But, you know, what you do to somebody else in another life, you've got to sort of find out and be cured of it. Yes? For instance, if you say to your teenage kids, don't put a cigarette to your mouth, then you'll never smoke. You know? But if they do and they start smoking, it's their free choice. You know, so you can give advice to people, but they don't always take it. They've got to learn the hard way. Yeah.